start in like, if you registered, it'll start in like 2 minutes. Okay, we're going live. My Casio's off by like 10 seconds. It's almost we start right at 6:30. Simon's like so ready. Give me the signal when you want to go. Let's do it, guys. Good evening, everyone. San Francisco, thank you for being here. LinkedIn Live, hello, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jackson. I will be your host this evening. I used to be one of the organizers here at AI User Group, and tonight I'm helping out on an intermittent basis, and I'm very happy to be here and engage with the community and see all of you. So thank you for being here. This is AI for Designers. We're AI User Group. We have 3 audiences and 3 events. So we have AI for designers, we have AI for marketers, and AI for developers. We're a community of professional designers, developers, and marketers interested in the latest AI tools, technologies, and workflows, and seeing how they can be applied to our day-to-day. So we host these 3 events to showcase these use cases. So that's who we are, and that's what we do. Tonight, as you know, is AI for designers. Next week, we'll have AI for developers. We'll take a week off, and we'll repeat the whole sequence of events in 2 weeks. So our live audience here in person is here at Spaces. Our next event, AI for Developers, will also be at Spaces in 3 weeks when we restart this whole series. We're changing locations to 5th and Mission. So we're more or less on Mission Street now, about 2 blocks that way. We'll have our own space all set up. So a slightly different location. So just keep an eye on the registration page for change of address. So we're moving locations, but our plan is to enhance the in-person experience for you guys as attendees. So that's the plan, so bear with us, and more information on that coming soon. Just a few announcements, and we'll get going. Agenda for tonight is first we'll hear from Pravanshi. At 7 p.m., we'll hear from Joe. At 7:30, we'll do a roundtable with the 2 speakers, and we'll take open questions. So if you have some questions, think about them, write them down, take a note, or just remember them. And we'll do a roundtable discussion with the 2 speakers, Pravanshi and Joe, at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, we'll have 5 minutes before we kick off networking, where you can come and stand approximately right here and introduce yourself to the in-person audience or the LinkedIn live stream. And it's just a good way to network and kick off networking, make any sort of announcement you want. Just say hello. It could be a new product, job openings, anything like this. 30-second announcement and just get things going. So that's the agenda. At 8:05, we'll have pizza and we'll do networking. We'll have some fun, get to know each other. At 8:50, the doors will close to the venue, and we'll just look forward to the next event. So that's the agenda. Just a reminder, doors close at 8:50. Oh, one more announcement. Call for speakers. If you would like to speak at one of these events, you can be an AI tool creator or just someone using an AI tool in your professional day-to-day, and you'd be interested in presenting and showing this on your share screen. It could be a single use case. It could be multiple use cases. As long as you found it valuable, we'd love to hear from you, and I think the community would be interested in hearing from you too. So just a chance to share. If you would like to speak, come talk to me during networking, or even better, email Cyril. And that is Cyril's email, cyril@aiusergroup.com. Cyril would love to hear from you. And you can be new to a tool, or you can be an expert, or anything in between. The idea is just to learn and talk about success, talk about failure, and where things are going next. So that's the idea. Cyril would love to hear from you. And without further delay, let's hear from Pravanshi Mehta. Pravanshi is the co-founder of Leica World, and the title of Pravanshi's talk is AI Video Assistant for Supercharging Your Creation Process. So without further delay, here is Pravanshi.
Can I get the audio? Hey everyone, I'm Purvanshi, and I'm the co-founder of Laika, and we are building an AI video producer, or you can say AI video assistant for your businesses. Before we dive any deeper, how many of you have created any kind of videos, be it social media videos on Instagram, or for your business, or you're an influencer? Okay. And how many of you have a business agency which has a social media platform, which is going live on Instagram or TikTok? Cool. So as you all know, video creation is super, super hard. We ourselves have used all kind of tools, and they're super painful. And the fact of the matter is, video creation should be easy for everyday people, and that is what we are trying to do at Laika. So without diving into any deeper, this is our platform. This is how it looks like. This is a very in-detailed view because I'm the admin and I can see everything. If you guys try to log in, you'll just see two text boxes, one where you can enter your story, and another one where you can input any kind of style. Now, style here can be, oh, give me a breathy tone, give me a British voice, or it could also be something related to give me a funny Instagram video. So we'll go through a couple of different examples. So the first one that I thought of is, so this one. So for example, you had a new launch for your company, right? I'm taking this one, which is a new Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses launch, and this is what the blog post looks like. So it has a couple of images, it has pretty detailed text of what the individual features are. So I'm gonna take this URL, and I'm just gonna paste this here. And I'm gonna type this as, maybe I should just copy paste from my previous prompts so that I can be faster. So yeah, I can be like, elaborate this properly and give me a earthy green theme for the video. And without doing anything custom, I'll just click on generate and wait for a few seconds. While that is being generated, I just want all of us to observe like what videos are there and what images are there, and kind of visualize what would be an ideal video for a launch look like. So let me see. Okay, let me try to play this.
Introducing the latest advancements in Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses and Meta AI. We're excited to announce several new updates to the Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses collection. Discover the new Skylar frames for a vintage vibe, custom frame and lens combinations, and prescription compatibility. Introducing the low bridge option for our headliner frames, ensuring a comfortable fit for all. Share those special moments and get real-time advice with hands-free video calling. Rolling out soon! With Meta AI, you can now control your glasses with your voice, get real-time information, and even translate text in real time. Pre-order your new Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses today on Meta. Calm and Ray-Ban. Calm.
So yeah, sometimes the voiceover is a bit weird, but we are working on it. But the whole idea is, how can you take a web page, understand what kind of video the user wants, match it to a specific kind of music, add certain kind of visuals at the right places, and give you a perfect enough or nearly perfect first draft. This is going to be just, let's say 60% perfect, and then you can go there. And the cool thing about our product is you can edit everything. So you can go here, let's say, I don't know, I'll just write what, and you can see live updates here in the video. You can also do something like add me a background image, and let's see what it does. So ideally, it takes the slide, and I want a really good background image. It should work. Let me see. Did that work? Oh no, it's still working on it. So it might take a few minutes, and before that, we also have a chat option. So right now, every kind of video editing tool is pretty much works like a traditional editing, right? Where we want to head away is you can edit videos like you're talking to a real person. So you should be able to talk to it like you're saying, change the colors to something like Facebook, or change the colors to Oh, so the image gets added here. And I did not specify what kind of image, so it just took something on its own. I can be here like, change the colors to something similar to Facebook's. And it should be able to recognize what Facebook's colors are. So if we go here, so this is blue and white, and let's see what it comes up. Yeah, so it kind of understands what the theme is, and it kind of auto updates there. So yeah, that's like the whole idea. You can also ask it to change music from here, either directly, or you can also go and chat to it like, hey, can you make the music more calming? You can also turn on and off different types of captions. You can add different sections of slides here, also just talking about it and describing it in natural language. Yeah, and this is like a good enough first version, and then you can download it and probably put it on different kinds of socials. So this is like the first part of what I wanted to show today. The second one is how we are treating different kinds of asset uploads. So for example, oops, can I bring this here? No? Okay, let me try to copy this. Yeah, so these are all dog pictures of my co-founder. She's also here. She just came in. And she loves her dog. And the individual pictures are something like this. So it's like random. I'm not able to bring it to this screen for some reason. Yeah. So yeah, these are like kind of the pictures where she's hugging the dog, and the dog is kind of wearing glasses. And yeah, this one is generated. So I upload these, and I want to give a story as this one, where Dobby is the dog's name, is an adorable 3-year-old husky, living his best life in California. He's the kindest, goofiest dog in the whole world. He has abandoned a shelter and always holds a positive attitude, and he has a past waiting to be discovered. And now to this, I want to give a very in detail style prompt, which would go something like this. So the video should be the agent has to use these images to create a video teaser for an intriguing story worthy of an Oscar with suspense and twists, and use these visuals appropriately and create a whole new magical world and a Muggle world, and use a posh British female voice, use only images provided in the screenplay and nothing else, and give me earthy tones. So I'll click on generate with different kinds of video styles. Wait a couple of seconds. Oh, perfect. So let's see what it gives us.
In a world where not all tales begin with a silver spoon, there was once a noble canine prince destined for greatness, but fate had other plans, casting our hero into the realm of mortals. Now known as Dobby, our prince found himself in a peculiar place called a shelter. But even in the darkest times, Dobby's spirit remained unbroken. At the tender age of 3, this goofy prince found his castle in the sunny lands of California. With each passing day, Dobby's kindness touched the hearts of all around him. But behind those dreaming eyes lies a past waiting to be uncovered. Will Dobby ever reclaim his royal heritage? Or is his true kingdom right here? The tale of Prince Dobby, the kindest, goofiest dog in 2 worlds, continues.
Yeah, and so this is a really nice video, which I think she also put it on her Instagram. And then you can say like, change the color styles to more, let's say, ocean-like. And we'll wait for a couple of more seconds. Cool. And it kind of like understands what ocean-like is. You can be also more detailed where you want a mixture of ocean-like and earthy tones, or you want it to be, I don't know, pretty dark or techno-like, and it understands everything. Moving on to like a next really cool use case, which we are actually going to release later this week, is this one. Okay, I
Return.
wanna play this video here. Oh, maybe because this is on. Okay, so this is, for example, a product video, which you have recorded on your phone for your web app.
If you want to initiate returns for your source products, all you have to do is head over to your Wishlink dashboard, go to the brand section, click on Source Now, click on My Orders. This will give you a list of all of the products.
Right, so this is an example like product video. Now you wanna, obviously this needs a lot of processing and you want like a good product video out of it. So what I'm gonna do is I pasted the video and then I'll paste this. So this is, this product video is by a company called Wishlink. And I'll just say, create a step-by-step product demo video. And I'll say, take the styles from their website. So this is what their website looks like. So it's really bright, colorful. They have a lot of like orange, yellow palette. And I'm just gonna click on generate. And I wait for a few minutes to kind of get a processed product demo video, which I can then pass on to my customers or put it on my website as a new feature launch video.
Welcome to our quick guide on initiating returns for products sourced from Wishlink. We'll walk you through the simple steps to make your return process smooth and efficient. First, log in to your Wishlink account and navigate to your dashboard. This is your central hub for managing all your orders and returns. Once on the dashboard, go to the Brand section, click on Source Now, and you'll see your orders under My Orders. This is where you'll find a list of all the products you have sourced through Wishlink. Scroll through your orders to find the specific item you wish to return. For the order you want to return, look for the Return Product button and click on that. After confirming the return, your return will have been placed successfully.
Yeah, so basically in one click, you can get a nearly perfect demo video out for your new product. You can use this internally or external communication. A lot of people are using this feature for FAQs, where a lot of people ask questions, and instead of writing text and answering questions again and again, they can just actually pass a video generated just for them, a custom video for their custom questions. Another cool use case, which I really like, is, so my sister calls me like a wannabe influencer these days because I'm working on video generation and everything. But this is a video which I recorded, which I plan to eventually put it on Instagram.
So I've been trying to eat healthy, and the process is like I buy all the green veggies from Instacart and I watch them slowly die in the fridge, and then I order pizza with wine because life is too short.
So what I'll do is, yeah, that's me. I'll put this video here, and I want something more funny and something more processed, not something which I recorded in my office, right? So I'll just do this, like I want a funny video and make it more exciting and add visual hooks. So I'll click on generate, wait a couple of more minutes. Cool, let's see what it gives out.
So I've been trying to eat healthy, and the process is like I buy all the green veggies from Instacart and I watch them slowly die in the fridge, and then I order pizza with wine because life is too short.
So it kind of makes it more engaging. It's not perfect, but I don't have a very intense video editing background, so it works for me. Another cool thing, which we have received a lot of requests from enterprises, is everyone wants custom templates. So For example, if you are an enterprise who wants not Leica templates, but you want something of your own, so you can go to our Leica, you can talk to us. And so this is a company which is a medical transcription company, and they write a lot of blogs. Like everyone writes a lot of blogs for SEO, but they don't know that they can also use this for growing their social media, for marketing, and other use cases. So what I'm just going to do is type here, and I'll just copy the story here and the custom prompt here. Just FYI, this model is not perfect, so if you want to get custom templates, right now we jump on a call to understand your requirements, and we get your custom template out within a day. So this is like, I take this URL, so I give this URL, and the task is to generate a custom template video from the content of the page. And what I'm just going to do, because the model takes a lot of time for this, is going to go to this video, which people have already been generated. And
DeepScribe is integrating with Epic. Now fully compatible with Epic's smart data elements for customized clinical solutions. This integration streamlines workflows and improves the clinician-patient experience. Clinicians at Covenant Healthcare see a 75% reduction in after-hours documentation. Explore more on deepscribe.ai.
So this is literally like
DeepScribe is integrating with Epic.
So this is literally like a one-click output, and we still do some modifications to make the template perfect just by taking the website URL. So we understand what is the color theme of the website, the logo. There are a lot of like waves in the logo, so you'll see in the template, like there are a lot of waves here. And then we give like a gradient blue theme so that it goes along with what the rest of their blogs are, and give you a custom template. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'd be happy to take in questions and would love to hear thoughts from everyone about how they can use Leica.
Okay, let's do some Q&A. Are there any questions from the audience for Pravanchi to kick this off? Perfect. And if you can, just please stand so we can see you, and go ahead.
So Pravanchi, if we give the URL of our website, is it going to understand the content and based on that content create a video and then allow us to edit that video as well? Like, can you do that live if we ask you to?
So what's the website you prefer?
Yeyzer.com, YEYZER.com. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, it would take a couple of minutes. Till then, maybe we can also take in...
Do the next question?
Yeah.
All right, next question. And just a reminder, if you could please stand so we could see you. And when you're done, just pass the mic to the next person or back to me. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for a great demo. So I would like to know how Leica is working with the copyrights. For example, if you any video on YouTube, so it always asks about the copyright. So how it is working with copyrights?
So we leave this responsibility to the user to check all of these, at least for now. But Priya, do you want to add more?
Yeah, so the videos that we put here from the stock videography, that's free for you to use. That's from public repositories where you don't have any copyright claims. However, if you're going to upload any videos or if there's any AI generated videos from different sources and it's coming from you, then the responsibility is more on the user. And the stuff we take from the website, the consent that you're giving is we're scraping the website on your behalf. So that responsibility wouldn't lie on us. But we are working with specific content providers to see if we can widen the repository and making it very clear to the user what can be used, the terms of it, and things like that. But anything that comes out of Leica today, when you go use it, you're free to use it wherever you want.
Thank you.
Pablo here. Hi.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like built-in guardrails just to keep people from doing naughty things or any of the security
Yeah.
governance perspectives?
For sure. For now, all the topics have been very safe for work, children, and everyone in between. But we have not ran into those issues, and we don't intend to support those topics as well. But we are an early stage startup using AI, so if you come across anything, just report to us, and we'll be happy to take it down.
Yeah, right now, if you try to enter, like, generate a video on, like, sexual content, it would just fail. So, and that's because a lot of APIs don't support that, and we don't support that.
Okay. Thank you.
Before the next question, Pravanshi, did you want to?
Yeah, sure. Let's play what the video came out to be.
Welcome to Yizer, the revolutionary social AI platform for professionals. Yizer is not just another social network. It's a game changer in the world of professional connections. Our mission? To fight loneliness, one YayPal at a time. In today's digital age, we're bringing back the essence of real human connections. With Yizer, you can meet in person, one-on-one with another professional, and do something genuinely real and meaningful. It's time to get off your phone and on the stage of your life. Step outside, where real life happens. Imagine joining the right person, at the right time, in the right place, doing something fun, right now. That's the Yizer experience. Be the first to join our journey and have a say in what Yizer becomes. Join our exclusive beta group now and start sharing the real you. Yizer, where professionals connect in real life.
Yeah, and you can go and edit everything here. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bing. This is an incredible demo, and what this model could do is just amazing. And I have some question more from a designer perspective and about the product level. So first is like, we have seen a lot of AI editing, like image editing or video editing tool that really focus on the prompt. Like user would basically the same as using ChatGPT, but a lot of times like I see a lot of my designer friends using Midjourney or other AI tool. Like it really depends on how the user do the prompting, and a lot of like amateur video editors, they don't really know how to do the correct prompting. So my first question would be like, how are you guys solving that problem? Would you like rewrite the prompt or like what's that process be like? And the second question is also related, is after the video is generated, almost all the video editing level is based on chat, not instead of something more like CapCut or other online editing tool where you have like sliders, buttons. And what I want to ask, what's the thinking behind it? Because in my view, I kind of feel like if a chat box just right there, it's hard for user to get where's the boundary of this tool and what can I do with this tool. And I want to know what's the thinking behind the decision of just putting a chat instead of buttons.
Definitely, yeah. So for the first one, that's a really good question, right? Like, we don't generate scenes. We are not replacing camera-generated footage. And the reason for that is we're doing business communication where people want to generate communicative information, right? Like, for example, this video, which talks about a product and that they can download and put it on their social media. So this is the first part of the problem where we have our own prompt library. So once you're on board, we give it to you. We understand your requirements, and you can save your prompts. And usually, if it's a business, they usually want to use the same kind of tone for their social media or internal communication. And the cool thing about this is you can still go and edit everything. You don't have to play around with words. Like if you want a certain word here, you can just type it up rather than saying, hey, make it, I don't know, like more harsh or include these keywords. You can actually change it. On the second part, where chat-based editing versus traditional editing, we definitely believe the future is a mixture of both. Like there are some things which are just easier to go here and change. Like if I just want to change one word, I don't have to write it, hey, can you go to this particular part of the video and change this word to this? I can just go here and do it, right? So, but there are some things, for example, I don't have to change the color for every layout which comes here, scene by scene, and I should just talk to an agent and be like, hey, change the colors to something, I don't know, more earthy or more cinematic. So that's my opinion, where the future is an integration of both those things, and we are building that at Leica.
Hi, I'm Raghu. The demo was incredible. And the idea of having the text editing in the middle, that is also pretty incredible. It's very intuitive if you think about it. I just had a couple of doubts. I couldn't, my eyesight is poor. I couldn't see if it can be custom length. The videos can be of custom length. If it is not, can we generate like second video based on the first video you generated as giving that as input to the model? Is that something that is possible?
Definitely. So you can say generate me like less than 30 seconds video or less than like 2 minutes video. Right now we just support less than 3 minutes video because that's the use case we are dealing with. But in any case, if you want, let's say, to add a section, you can do it here. So if you don't, let's say if it comes out to be 15 seconds, you want to make it longer, you can talk to this chat and just say that, hey, add like these 3 scenes. One is on X, other is on Y, and the third one on Z. And it would automatically increase the length of the video and add those for you.
Okay, thank you. And I think we probably have time for one more question, and then we can move on.
Hello, that was awesome. Sorry, I wanted to know about like for the FAQ section. I saw like the whole walkthrough of the so would you record that yourself and then put that in and then enter in the text as well? And then would that create the FAQ like, oh, how to return the item and stuff?
Are you talking about the product video, demo?
So the demo where you said it auto-generated the returning the item video?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I see. Let me quickly open that one. And sorry, what's the question there?
So like, would you need to input the script of that?
No,
the
I just uploaded a literal MP4 video, right? Like,
so the MP4 video of the recording of the return process?
Exactly, yeah. We are also going to be providing a record button here, so you can just use the platform to record any kind of product demo, and you can put it here, and I can think of the prompt which I put, but you give the prompt, and the final video kind of comes up. That's it.
That's really cool. And does it do like highlighting too, I saw, or was it just like?
Yeah, I can try to regenerate it, but you can ask it to do highlighting. You can ask it to focus on a certain feature more, which is the hero feature rather than other features.
Yeah, okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Okay, let's save our questions for Q&A. After our next speaker, Joe, we'll have both our speakers return for a Q&A session, so write your question down, or we can save it for networking, okay? But in the meantime, let's give a round of applause to Pravanshi. Okay. Thanks for the great engagement on the Q&A session. We're just getting set up for our next speaker, who is Joe.
Hey, everyone. Sound okay?
Okay, so Joe is Senior Product Designer at Weights and Biases. The title of Joe's talk is Product Design in the Age of AI. And without further delay, let's welcome Joe.
All right, there we go. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I think this is a great crowd. So my name is Joe Cloughley, and I'm a product designer, and my topic is product design in the age of AI. So by show of hands, how many people in here are product designers? Okay, a good number of you. A lot of what I covered tonight is going to be about product design, but I also think it applies more broadly to all sorts of designers and really any creatives. And with that, let's take a look at some slides. So buckle up, there's going to be a lot of generative art in my presentation today. I went a little crazy with it. Here's kind of what we're going to go through. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about me and why I'm qualified to speak on designing in AI. And then I'm going to talk about the startup that I work for. It's called Weights and Biases. And then I'm going to spend the majority of time talking about challenges of being a product designer in the age of AI, and then how to meet those challenges. So I've got a bunch of advice and tips, and then at the end we'll do a Q&A. Okay, so about me. I'm a former front-end engineer turned product designer, and I've been designing for about 15 years. For the past 8 years, I've been focused on designing machine learning experiences for machine learning teams. So at Figure 8, I designed experiences for collecting training data. At Meta, I designed experiences to help their machine learning teams code author, write their code, write their applications. At Weights and Biases, where I currently am, we focus on experiences for machine learning experimentation. So throughout my design experience, I've designed many points along the MLOps pipeline. So basically all the points that it takes to bring AI into real-world production. So like I've said, I've spent a lot of time designing experiences for those who make ML, but I've also designed experiences that are powered by ML. So let's call them smart features. I've also used ML a lot to make myself a better designer, and that's more easier today than it's ever been. So simply put, I use AI to design AI for those who make AI, which is, you're going to hear that word AI a lot in this presentation. So most of the presentation I'll be focused on like what it means to design experiences for those who make ML, but I'm also going to call out like when I've worked on a smart feature or used ML myself. So let's talk a little bit about Weights and Biases. I'm going to talk about the platform, and as I talk about it, just listen for like what you might think the challenges would be of being a designer in this space. So our customers and users are machine learning teams, and we work with some of the leading names in AI, including OpenAI, NVIDIA, and Meta. And we support ML teams across like all different industries, agriculture, education, defense, healthcare, you name it. It's a business-to-business company, and it's software as a service. One thing that we're really proud of is that it only takes a little bit of code to get started, to start working with our platform. This is a screen grab of our product. At its core, our platform allows ML teams to track machine learning experiments and then visualize the results. So it essentially creates a system of record of all your experimentation, and you can sort of go back and look at all that you've done to arrive to the models you've created. So just a quick tour here. The listing on the left is every experiment that the team has done in this project, and then more in the canvas area, you see a lot of charts and panels. Every visualization represents a metric that you're tracking across every experiment, so you can see how something like accuracy or loss has changed with all your experimentation. So I also want to mention, we launched a brand new product in the last year. It's called Weave, and it helps those who are experimenting with LLMs. Same idea, experimenting with it. How do you arrive to an LLM application that you're really happy with? We also have products to manage models that are in deployment, model versioning, and then helping to manage the hardware that you run your experiments on. And right now, this is a big area of focus for me at the company, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Okay, so let's get into the main part, which is basically what challenges have I found in this industry, and then my advice on how to meet them. So I'm going to cover 6 challenges, and the first is designing in a fast-paced industry. And I wanted to start with this because it's one of the most defining factors in the industry we're in. It changes every day. In the AI industry, product roadmaps shift constantly. Sometimes it's weekly, and that can be frustrating, but shifting with it strategically is absolutely essential. So my first piece of advice is don't skip the blue sky designs. It's our job as designers to provide an optimized solution and to dream for the company about what is possible. We essentially provide vision, and I think that's where we build the most credibility for design. So a product leader once told me that if you design 50% and put that in front of people, you might get 25% built. But if you design 100%, you might get 50% built. So keep that in mind. In a fast-paced environment, when you can, resist the urge to aim for the MVP for the sake of moving fast. All that said, expect the MVP design. So the blue sky design will quickly get cut down, and not because it isn't right, but because your team is beginning to think about the cost and the time to build it. So be ready to show that you know about the cost and time to build it. Show that you're ready to go with a scaled back design, and that you're essentially 2 steps ahead of the rest of the team. And I think if you share blue sky designs and you are ready with MVP designs, you're working your strategic design muscles. Next advice, optimize for your craft. So I think these days we hear a lot. We hear less focus maybe on specific design tools or craft. We talk a lot about soft skills, communication, and strategic thinking. But mastering your craft and your tools is a real strength in a fast-paced industry. So componentize your designs to allow for faster iteration, invest in a design system, learn hotkeys and the latest Figma features. These investments are absolutely worth making. And just as an example, the team I'm on, we maintain 2 sets of components, one for our light theme and one for our dark theme. And then we explored Figma variables, which is relatively new, and it actually allowed us to cut the number of components in half because we no longer had to maintain 2 sets. And it's absolutely saved us time in creating new components and then maintaining the components we already have. Save all designs. This really isn't hard to do these days, especially with Figma. But designs don't get shelved because they're not solving the right problem. They don't get solved. Just as uncommon, customer problems don't really just go away overnight. Designs get shelved because there's a shuffle in priority, and that's a staple of moving fast that this will happen. The problems you solve will be waiting after maybe a quarter or a year or 5 years, and do what you need to do to keep designs intact and well organized to be found later. So the next challenge number 2, is designing on the cutting edge and what that means. Again, it's a defining factor of the industry we're in. So emerging technology, particularly in AI, is exciting because we don't fully know where it's heading. We're building the plane as it's flying, so to speak. So how do we innovate where there's no established precedent? Possibly most importantly is getting close to your users and customers. And this is really key to all product design. It's key to a lot of design. But it comes even more important when the technology is so new. If you're working in an early industry, the customers you support are as well. So collaborate with them as early adopters and innovators. And just some practical solutions here. At the company I'm at, we have set up shared Slack channels with our customers so we can really communicate rapidly with them. Build strong relationships with your product managers. Often they're going to be the ones who are closest to users and customers. And then join customer calls whenever possible. Stay informed externally. There's so many resources out there. So find ones that sort of speak to you or that are good information resources for you. And I'm going to recommend a couple podcasts here. There's 2-minute papers which provides bite-sized summaries of new ML research. So when a paper comes out that's maybe hard to understand, this is a good one to sort of digest it for you. Thursday, which covers the latest AI news weekly. At Weights and Biases, we also have our own podcast. It's called Gradient Descent, and it's hosted by our CEO, and he interviews people who are making products in AI, usually other founders and CEOs. And this is great to listen to if you also design and build AI products. A lot of helpful tips in there. And then lastly, I'm going to recommend my own podcast. Me and my co-founders started AI FYI, and we demystify AI mostly for those who aren't in tech. So we joke that it's a podcast about AI for your mother. Stay informed internally. So you definitely want to pay attention to internal conversations and leadership's evolving focus. So listen for the new terms or buzzwords that are being said, as they often indicate a shift in direction or priority, especially in a remote work environment. This is super important. You just want to ensure that you remain aligned with the company's cutting edge goals. Watch the competitive space. So AI is on the cutting edge, but something that's unique about this is that it's already quite a crowded playing field. So look closely at what others are doing, what they're working towards, and then try to understand their choices and where they're coming from. There's also lessons to be learned from adjacent industries. So Weights and Biases is a system of record for your machine learning models, and GitHub, as you probably know, is a system of record for your code. And I reference it all the time to sort of understand what might be a good pattern or interaction to use to borrow from or be inspired by. All right, challenge 3, designing where deep technical knowledge is required. This is something that's not unique to AI. If you're a product designer and you're dealing with engineers who are very, very smart, it can be overwhelming and kind of scary. 15 years in the industry, I deal with that every day. If you do work in AI, put on top of that the fact that maybe your customers and users are also extremely technical. So I mentioned at Weights and Biases, I focus on experiences for folks who manage hardware. I'm a UX expert, not a compute hardware expert, and yet I need to know about compute hardware quite a bit so that people trust my designs and know what I'm talking about. So what are some things that you can do if you find yourself in a similar position? Use the product yourself, super important. It's very hard to find the time to do this often, but don't just hear about the challenges you're solving for, find and experience them, and you'll be a leader in your teams. It's one of the most impactful practices that you can do as a product designer in a technical domain. Leverage AI as your expert neighbor. So asking for help and understanding is a daily occurrence as a designer in a technical space. And tools like ChatGPT can act as your always available technical expert. And I find it invaluable for asking very detailed technical questions that I might otherwise bother my colleagues with or hesitate to bother my colleagues with and then never know. So keep that one in mind. This is a good one. I especially think if you're starting a new job, and that's to maintain a personal glossary. So every time you come across a new word, or maybe even a new company you've never heard of, there's a new company popping up every day, make a note of it and look it up later. Over time, you'll notice you're adding fewer and fewer new terms, which signals that you're getting more familiar with the area and the industry and the space. And this is also something that you can share out to help others who are learning. So know what you don't know. I sort of alluded to this one, but it's really important to embrace gaps in your knowledge and acknowledge them. You'll be asked tough questions. It's okay to say, I don't know, or I'll get back to you, and then to go find the right answer. In fact, admitting when you're unsure builds trust in what I call the trust bank, which I didn't come up with, but it's a metaphor I like quite a bit. So every time you're honest about not knowing something, you make a deposit in the trust bank. And if you sort of fake it and maybe get caught, more than a little will be taken out of your trust bank. And you want to sort of maintain that with your team members. Okay, let's talk about challenge number 4. I've got 2 more after this. So designing for non-traditional interfaces. I wasn't really sure the right word to use here. When I think of a traditional interface, I'm thinking something maybe like Airbnb, browser-based, very designed for emotions, very click-driven. Oftentimes you might see this with like a business to customer site. Those in AI often work in more technical interfaces. So this is code, terminals, notebooks, APIs, SDKs, spreadsheets, very data-heavy interfaces. So what should you keep on top of when you're designing these spaces? Go where your users go. This is really important. I learned this firsthand when designing at Meta. So when I joined the company, I really only had experiences designing for browser-based experiences. And what I quickly learned was that ML engineers care quite a bit about being close to their code, moving very efficiently, having things like hotkeys. And what ultimately happened was that most of my designs there ended up being VS Code extensions. And VS Code is the code editor that is preferred there. So it makes sense. It was extremely valuable to capitalize on this tool that all their developers already used and to bring the experience into that. So when you start out on a project, I'd say keep that top of mind and sort of question the medium where you're going to be designing. Embrace utilitarian design. So this kind of gets into like the Airbnb of it all that I was talking about. It's always good to strive for aesthetic design that ignites the emotions of the user, but you may need to embrace something that's a little bit more utilitarian. So what that means is layouts might be clean, minimal, and functional, not visually expressive, not vibrant, not decorative or animated. Actions, they may be keyboard shortcuts, quick commands, very minimal clicks, not designed for exploration or play. Information architecture, strictly focused on what helps users achieve their goals. Minimizing distractions, it's not focused on storytelling. And then feedback and error messages, make sure they're clear, concise, and actionable, and not about a softer tone or humor or about reducing frustration. So I also want to talk about the value of including options for customization. So technical users often appreciate customization and flexibility and preference in how they interact with a product. So hotkeys or UI themes is a great example here. Now, at Weights and Biases, a lot of our users interact with our SDK in the terminal. And we recently explored the idea of verbosity levels. So other products do this, but basically in an SDK's output, you might prefer to it to be very silent, or you might prefer a lot of output. We also explored the idea of like a learning mode, where if you're just beginning to learn the platform, it's going to spit out a lot of like helpful documentation and links. So I thought this was a really cool example of how you can provide some customization to the experience. Remember that documentation can be an important part of the experience. So I've worked on so many technical experiences that would fail without companion documentation. And these are like the docs that you would leave the platform to go and explore. So you want to understand when the intuitiveness of the product will not cut it, and when it's time to send folks off to the documentation and how their experience is going to be like understanding that documentation, particularly as they come back into the product. All right, challenge number 5 is designing for explainability. And this one's very particular to AI. As AI matures, explainability will become very important for trust, safety, and compliance. And some would say it very much already is. So many AI models function like black boxes, and it's hard to tell what's going on inside of them. So part of a designer's role is to break down complexity and expectations, to set expectations. So why shouldn't this design responsibility extend to demystifying AI? My first piece of advice is to specialize in visualizations. So designing in the AI world means designing for data, which is often very complex, very overwhelming, and hard to draw meaning from. It's difficult for users to grasp. And I believe having the skill to create charts and visualizations is acutely valuable right now. Many companies are looking for this specifically from designers. So I'd recommend adding it to the skill set if it isn't already. So when designing for explainability, design sandbox and playground experiences. So an AI is inherently non-deterministic, meaning that you can run it many times and you'll get a different answer every time. Also, evaluating the success of a response can be very subjective. It's not always clear if it's right or wrong. And this not knowing is what contributes quite a bit to the lack of trust in AI. So if you are creating an AI feature, like a smart feature, and you want people to trust it, you could provide a sandbox or playground experience that lets them just sort of play around with it without consequence. Some might also call this a vibe check. That's like a word I've been hearing with regard to this sort of experience out there, which I think sums it up pretty nicely. So the UI that we're looking at here, I worked with a team that created a gibberish detection model, and we created a UI alongside of it that let users like copy and paste whatever they wanted in there, and you could see if it passed or failed. And there was even that toggle there for leniency, like how strict you want it or not strict. And it's these sort of experiences that let you like try some things and then have some confidence that it's okay to deploy. Similarly, design and provide lineage experiences. So at Weights and Biases, we've created these experiences that let customers track each model that they create, different versions of the model, but then also what sort of data set and artifacts went into the model. So when a model starts misbehaving, it's a good place to start the investigation on why. A good place is to go back and see sort of like what went into the development of the model. For example, let's say you produced an image model and it was just sort of missing out on showing older people. You might go back to a lineage experience and realize that you trained on a data set that was really heavy with young people. And that gives you an idea of sort of what went wrong and where to start to correct it. And if you then go back and train on a new data set, that will show up in the lineage and you'll have a record of that. And this one's really simple, but just some might say our role as designers is to remind everyone about the human impact of these technologies. Thus, you can be the person in the room, you know, in the meeting that asks tough questions and sort of pokes holes in assumptions about like what we're doing with the technology and why and how it's going to work. Certainly would encourage anyone on any team to do that. But just reflecting on sort of like what designers do to break down complexity in other areas, I think we're well suited for this sort of thing. Okay, the last challenge, and this one's like coming out of left field a little bit, but designing with the threat of obsolescence. So there are lessons here for all designers, not just product designers. AI's impact is undeniable, and there's a possibility that certain design tasks or entire jobs could become obsolete. So optimistically, AI can enhance design, raising both the floor and the ceiling, in what we can accomplish, basically. Maybe that's something you've heard before. But then pessimistically, it could also replace designers. So how do we plan for a future where AI might take over certain aspects of our work? My first piece of advice here is to design at the strategic level. So as AI evolves, it's possible that more tactical design tasks, such as creating UI, will be automated. However, designers who can think strategically, understand the bigger picture, and sort of tie smaller experiences together will continue to add value. Also, design and build the AI tools or the shovels. So the phrase selling shovels during a gold rush applies here. That may be something that you've heard before. So those who design and build the tools to support AI may remain indispensable. So even if AI becomes more autonomous, the infrastructure and the tools that power it will still need to be created. And this is what we're doing at Weights and Biases. We focus on building these shovels, these tools for AI creators to use. And sometimes the state of product design or where we're at in the journey feels like a little murky, but I have confidence knowing that I'm doing product design for AI, which seems to be like more at the beginning stages of its journey, but we'll see. Become an expert at prompting AI for UI design. We just saw a great example of this with the prompting for a video. So there could be a future where writing prompts to instruct AI could become a valuable skill set. I think someone even asked about that, like how do you write prompts and guide people to write good prompts? Designers could essentially transition from creating UI to becoming expert prompters and guiding the AI to deliver the UI. And again, the shift has already begun. I'm sure we've all experimented with getting the right video, the right image, the right text. Okay, my last piece of advice before I start wrapping up here, sell the human touch, and this is absolutely particular to all designers and creatives, and it's frankly in contrast to a lot of what I've said today. But who knows, maybe in the future, while AI might excel at technical tasks, there might remain a value of human-driven, emotional, and artistic design. So products that emphasize originality, creativity, and the human touch could continue to hold appeal. So keep that in mind. That reminds me, I missed something when I was talking about sort of more utilitarian design. In your careers, you might encounter designs that are too utilitarian, and it is at that time to remember the human touch and maybe realize that precisely what an experience needs is the human touch, and that it's maybe a little too stale otherwise. So that's pretty much it. Before I wrap up, feel free to take out your cameras and snap a shot of this and the next screen. This is a summary of the 6 challenges we discussed. So again, these are the challenges you might face in the age of AI as product designers. And then following up on that, here's the 24 pieces of advice that I give to you to make you more resilient as product designers. So you can take a snapshot of this, you can print it out, you can use it as a bingo card. And I'll go ahead and leave it at that. My LinkedIn is there. And I guess we'll move into any questions. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Joe. Let's take some questions from the audience. Would anyone like to kick off our Q&A? Perfect. And when you're done, just pass me back the mic or to the next person, even better.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing this. This is really helpful. So I want to ask you about the first 2 hints, which is how do you have any examples where you pitch a blue sky design and then have to go back to the MVP, or how do you juggle the balance between pitching a blue sky design, getting people to be on board with that, and also backtrack and roadmap the steps that it takes to actually go from MVP till that blue sky design?
Yeah. Gosh, every day. I feel like most designers are just putting out really grand, large visions, and then they quickly get descoped. That's, I'm in the midst of that right now, which is okay. That's part of the sort of jostling to arrive to the right thing to build. We're always sort of combating the best human experience versus the right cost and the time to build it and the business need. So I'm trying to think what else I can add here that I didn't speak on. I just think it's really valuable to provide that blue sky design because I do think companies will get back to it, and I think more will get built if you show as much as you can of it. And I've had that experience before where, we've sort of said we're going to do this one chunk now, and then we're going to get back to doing this other chunk. It does happen. It doesn't always feel like it, but it does. Did I answer the question? Or, yeah.
How do you push the product owners or the engineers to go a step further than what they want to do or what they are okay to do to get to the blue sky design, or get that extra 5% or 10% based on their estimation?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think if you've got that skill, it's really awesome because you're often facing a lot of pushback on trying to get as much design as you can in. A few things. I think try to back up all your decisions with really good data. I think if you can get into customer anecdotes, or maybe you're looking at charts and stuff to see how users are currently using the product, you can really build a case that's sort of hard to refute that it's something that needs to be done. And the reason you're not doing it might be because there's just no time or the cost of it, but you don't want there to be any lack of clarity that it would be good for users. Have a very convincing argument there. I also think you can talk about the larger picture, about what the larger pictures are, or larger goals of the company are. I'll give you an example. We're working on something right now that is essentially sort of like an automated event that happens when something else happens, sort of a if this then that experience, we have a whole automation system in our platform, and we're sort of going back and forth on like this new thing. Do we rope it into that system, or do we, to get it out quickly, do we make it sort of an independent thing and not tie it back into the larger automation system that we have? And I've been constantly reminding folks that like automation is a real big selling point of our platform. It's a very valuable feature. We want to keep driving people to it. Like, why wouldn't we not take this opportunity to go ahead and build it into the thing that we already have? You can also remind them that like there's such things as like Band-Aid UX, and tell them the ills or the like bad reasons to not just sort of put a Band-Aid on things for the sake of doing it quickly, because there will come a time down the road when there's going to be a price to be paid and you're going to have to go and fix that thing or like do it right. That can be a convincing argument as well. Yeah, be tough.
Oh, hi, Josephine here. Thank you again for giving all the advice that you gave. I particularly like your advice on creating a sandbox environment for new AI features.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see like where do you see that sandbox feature on the spectrum of like MVP to like blue sky design?
Yeah, I think it's case specific. I think on the one hand, that could be the product itself. And I'll talk about like recent LLM work right now. I mentioned we came out with a new product recently called Weave, that it's essentially a sandbox or playground experience or a whole platform for testing out different LLMs to try and find out which is the right one. Is OpenAI giving you a better experience than like Llama? And you can sort of, there's functions to compare them, evaluate them, put them side by side, look at a whole bunch together. In essence, that's like a big sandbox experience. And, that's a whole feature that will take quarters and even years to build out to its full potential. But I do think the example that I showed was a very small experience, a very small UI. A little bit more context on that. We essentially had customers who might deploy this gibberish detection AI to kick out user submissions. And so our customers were sort of deciding if they wanted to use it and deploy it in their own platforms. And they really didn't have the confidence to say how it was going to work. So just this very small experience, while very quick and sort of like a footnote, I think still had a very big effect on their decision to use that model. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can add there. Just consider it, even if it's a very small experience, whenever you sense that there's going to be some hesitation on trusting the model, or that users aren't going to know what it does exactly. There's one other sort of point I'll make on explainability that I didn't touch on. Take advantage of like blog posts and documentation and even product announcements to talk about what went into the AI process or what users can expect to get from it. I think, all the big foundational model companies, OpenAI and Meta, it seems that whenever they come out with a new model, it's usually accompanied by a blog post, which is very exciting, and it allows us to read about it. If you don't have engineering capacity to make a sandbox experience, like write a blog post about it, and give users some confidence.
Joe, thank you so much. Let's give Joe a round of applause.
Thanks.
If you have more questions for Joe, fear not. We're actually going to bring Pravanshi back, and we're going to just close out the show with an open Q&A for the two of the speakers. So you can direct a question at both speakers or either or. And that's what we'll do. Give us 20 seconds to move the chairs, reset the cameras, and we'll get started with Q&A with Pravanshi and Joe. Do you guys have your questions ready? Okay, let's just do it. Let's just do it. I have questions too, but mine are less important. I'm serious. Let's go. And
Hello, Joe. I just wanted to quick. Your presentation was awesome. You should write a book about that presentation because there's so much depth in there. But I was wondering, like, do you recommend any visualization tools? Like you were recommending, like designers should focus on visualization. So like any tools you recommend?
Yeah, that's a great question. Oh, is this still okay? Good. Tools. So when I go to make a visualization, and I'll say I'm not a, it's not a niche of mine. I feel pretty equipped. I've done a lot of it, but I wouldn't say I'm like an expert on it myself. I have been approaching it in Figma. I actually think what's more important for me is the process to understand what kind of visualization we want. And I find that is where the project sort of goes off the rails, is coming into designing a visualization without a full understanding of what is being asked. So you've probably, I'm sure like statisticians also have this problem. People just sort of want to know like, know the answer. Like they'll be like, we want to see this, this, and this. Like we have a million questions we want to answer. Like just go and make a visualization to do it, or like what's the right visualization? And there really should be a process of distilling like what is the right question to ask. And I might even say like what is the one question to ask. You want to start with one question. And then if they, insist on having like 20 questions they want answered, that might mean 20 different visualizations. And it's important to call that out because it takes time to design visualizations, and 20 is going to be a lot, especially if you're working in Figma. I don't know any tools that are like specific to creating visualizations for designers, unless you're very good at like JavaScript or you have those technical skills to get into like, I think it's called D3, but there's a couple like JavaScript tools out there to do this. Yeah.
Pravanshi, so coming off that question, let me turn it into two questions for you. One, are there any AI tools you're using as a tool creator that you can comment on either briefly or more expansively? And then second part of that question, as a tool creator, product builder, and developer for designers, what do you seek to, what are some of the most important features you want to bring for designers that are AI powered?
Definitely. So for the first question, what tools we are using, is that correct? Everyone in our team uses like code generation tools. That's pretty evident. We are trying a lot of like Figma AI generated, and like just to kind of stress test various technology. We have tried a lot of like video AI tools, but ours is the best, so being biased. Yeah, I guess I use AI in pretty much everything. So like everything like Perplexity or ChatGPT. Claude is a huge part of it. So yeah, these are the top of the mind which come into my mind. For the second question, where I want designers to use it is like get a perfect or nearly perfect draft. So I definitely believe like the creative thinking should be in the hands of the designer, but the grunt work, for example, once you know that what is the best color palette for this particular client, they should be able to like go and tell it to an assistant designer that, hey, can you change these things and give me like a near perfect like template or mock-up or whatever. And that's my hunch about it. Another part is illustrations. So a lot of designers spend a lot of time on illustrations. And what we are thinking about is how can we make that process easy? So everything that we are thinking about is about making a designer's or a creative person's process easier, and how can they like supercharge their, especially for now, video production process.
Excellent. Let's take some more questions from the audience.
So my question is, so you made an awesome video of my website. The content, like the content that the voiceover reads, how can you or do you evaluate on to see whether or not that is going to basically generate audience for it too? Meaning that is the generation, the text and the content, how is it evaluated to be that? Is it going to be something that's going to help me generate more users to my website?
I mean, we have data from our past users already, and we within Leica are also running like small accounts of our own, like anonymous accounts, to kind of stress test what kind of music works, what kind of content works, if it's a product video, like our aim is to grow everyone's accounts if it's like a consumer use case. And we and we want to be more of the experts in like all kinds of video production and what users like. So you can literally think of Leica as your partner in whatever your aim is. And you can tell it, hey, I want virality. Are there any recent trends that are going on? I don't know, for example, Brat Summer was a recent trend, and a lot of companies pivoted towards like creating content towards it. I see a lot of smiles, but yeah. And we want that, okay, once you know that this is a trend, that process from kind of creating videos towards that particular trend should be easier. And that's our aim. So we see ourselves as like leaders now and eventually more into this field of virality and how can you succeed in your video goals.
Before we take the next question, Joe, I just want to give you a chance to comment on tools, being more of the UI, UX, and front-end engineering from that angle. 2 questions. 1, any code generation tools you've experimented with that you find are production ready, and if so, why? And then second question, any sort of graphic design visual tools you've experimented with?
Yeah, good question. I was trying to think of tools that I use. I'm a heavy ChatGPT user. I'm sure a lot of us are. And it covers a lot of what I like to do, whether it's answering technical questions or I get a lot of content generation from it, meaning like give me an example of like what would be a URL to call, you know, like a hosting server somewhere. Or giving it an example of some content that I have and then asking it to generate like 20 more examples. So code generation tools, I'm not doing a lot of coding myself these days, but everyone in my companies is raving about Cursor. Maybe that is, I believe it's actually a VS Code fork. It's a IDE or code editor. And it has great code generation and also like sort of assistant capabilities that sort of guide you and ask you questions about what you want to do, I believe. I want to spend a little bit more time with that. Graphic generations or like design generations, really haven't seen a lot there. I know there are a few tools out there, but I don't know if they're like production ready. I know even Figma's had a recent release of something like that they basically wanted like design generation, but I believe they pulled it because it wasn't quite ready yet.
Let's take the next question from the audience.
Hi, I'm Dominic. Thanks for the great presentations. I would like to direct a question to you, Joe. I'm a junior designer, and it's a bit of an abstract question, but how do you see the future of our industry? Or yeah, where do you see everything going?
Yeah, I talked a little bit about it, but I think there's going to be product designers for a long time. If that question has to do with like what will AI, like what impact will AI have on the industry? But I think what is going to become increasingly important, really for all industries, is that strategic thinking level. So like, if in the next couple of years there comes a tool that is really great at creating UI, creating designs, my guess is that it'll be just small pieces of the puzzle, the Lego pieces, and that designers will play the role of tying it all together or like thinking about the design more strategically. Like I mentioned this in the presentation, but that I keep hearing this like raise the floor, raise the ceiling concept. If we believe that is true and is what's coming, then that means you're operating more at a strategic level and sort of letting the AI maybe do more of the like tactical, smaller things, which I guess I worry about like junior designers or like someone just entering the industry, because it's like, how do you sort of jump to that strategic level? But doing so, I think, would be like my greatest advice.
Pravanshi, without knowing the future, what advice can you give designers, graphic designers, UI UX designers, or product builders to better situate themselves or prepare themselves for what might be ahead? What can they do right now?
Yeah, a lot of roles in the industry. I'm a technical person, so this is my completely different end of the spectrum perspective. My perspective is a lot of roles would be a mixture of design engineering roles and strategic roles, where you have to define the strategy of how a company's brand should look like, rather than getting into a lot of nitty-gritties where you can give it to an assistant to do it. So a lot of junior designers should also focus on getting some of those skills where they can build, like let's say through Claude or something, build end-to-end applications. We are, by the way, hiring at Laika, and that's one of our goal of, you can design it, that's amazing. Can you also build like a small prototype? And that just kind of combines a front-end person and a design person into one, because the scenario and the world is changing.
Yeah, I would actually echo that same thing. We're hiring for a role right now, and like we've talked about how great it would be if they had technical experience, like some coding ability. And I also think it's a really attractive quality if you're like a hobbyist, like if you really love creating LLM applications and like tinkering with the new tech, that just shows that you're excited about what's happening in the space. So that's good advice.
Let's take another question from the audience, and please stand if you can.
Thank you for amazing presentation. My question is, sufficiently advanced AI exhibits traits of intelligence, and subconsciously we think about it as a human being rather than an object. And my hypothesis that UI might evolve into more direction of being more anthropomorphic, example of Clippy, for example, a while ago. So do you see it happening, and do you maybe, could you provide, it's a question more for Joe, but for both of you, example of those like anthropomorphic UI or like UX experiences? Thank you.
Can someone remind me what anthropomorphic means?
It's like Clippy, basically, it's more like creature rather than like boring buttons of a size, like rectangles and whatever. So it's more like something you can interact like NPC from a game rather than just boring UI.
Yes. So that's a great point. I think the future of experiences could be interfaceless. There's actually a really good book, a very short book on this, called The Best Interface is No Interface. And it is about like, if you truly want a great experience, then the actual surface should just like disappear into the background. And I think we have a ton of great examples of this, like Siri or any voice assistant. The interfaces of the future could be like conversational interfaces where, there's no buttons. They're sort of like omnipresent. They're ubiquitous. They're all around us. Like I think a lot of what's happening with AI right now, like allows us to get a little bit closer to that, which is exciting. But also, I'll miss pixels.
Pravanshi?
I guess similar to you, but experiences will be more and more personalized, because creating a website today is much easier than it was like 2 years back. So a lot of UI, and we think about that at Leica too, like what do personalized videos and personalized experiences look like? If you are an in-depth designer, how can we provide you with all the controls, where someone like me who just wants a higher level control, how can we personalize that to someone? So yeah, I agree to your thesis.
I have two questions, so I'll merge into one. So what you are doing for product security and data privacy? For example, I upload any confidential data to Leica as a prompt. So like how you segregate it and how you make sure that data is private and you are not training LLM on the data.
So we are working on getting a lot of these compliance certificates. We don't have them right now, but we are working with enterprises, and then eventually we are going to get SOC 2 and a different bunch of privacy and compliance certificates. So whatever you enter on Leica, we are not training on user data unless we sign an agreement with you. So that's where we are at today.
How you are ensuring product security? Like what are the controls you have implemented for product security?
So security in what aspect? Is it more towards toxic language generation, or?
Like in terms of biasness, hallucination, or prompt injection, anything?
Yeah, so a lot of like downstream models that we have fine-tuned on kind of ensure that. For example, OpenAI like has a completely different team which works on it. Claude has a completely different team. On our case, we make sure that there's no sexual or hatred-based content which is being produced at Leica. So the video would just fail if you try to produce something like that.
Next question. I think we have time for one more question.
This on? Okay. So kind of taking it back to the UI question about conversational UI. And since it's a panel discussion, just kind of thinking through your thoughts on a lot of this AI UI is conversational. And so is that going to leave anybody out who's more of a visual thinker? I know we have generative AI stuff, but that's what it's being produced, not how it's being chosen. And yeah, just thoughts on that in general, as that seems to be the mode of operation so far. Thanks.
I think, good question. I hope that it is. I think just what we see with the AI we have today and where it's going, that totally seems in the realm of possibility. That right now, I guess generative AI is quite focused on text use cases, but obviously images and videos are, it's happening. And like, I imagine a future where you can sort of have it generate many different sort of modals of information, and hopefully that could also be personalized to someone who's a more visual learner, or sort of whatever their learning style is. I think that's like probably like a nice promise of AI having to do with education in particular. That's my optimistic response, but I also just worry like it'll like someone will have to pay for it. So it's like, will there be people in a room who decide that that's valuable to like cater their product to people who aren't maybe their main user group, or like aren't their largest user group?
Pravanshi, anything to add?
Not really. I guess similar thoughts. So
Okay. One more question. Let's get you on the mic, and let's see if we can make it the fastest question.
All right, thank
ever
you.
asked,
This
in the most
is a
concise
longer
way.
question, actually. This is for Pravanshi, and your demo was very utilitarian. And to Joe's point, like I would like a more human touch on it. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about, your company, the startup journey, and like kind of your path to where you are.
Sure, yeah. So my background is in deep learning, machine learning research. I was working at research parts of Microsoft, and then headed a couple of teams at Microsoft which were building and shipping large multimodal models. And before that, I was in academia, where my major was actually computational neuroscience. And I was taking ideas from the human brain and how can we apply them to like AI models or deep learning models. and how we came to this idea. So I was working on content personalization, and at the same time, I met my co-founder, who is here somewhere, and she started Designer at Microsoft. And so it kind of became the best team for us to work on this idea where how can we bring design ideas for everyday people and make the job of designers and marketing people 100 times easier. And so this became a passion for our life, and we are building this.
You know what? It is pretty much 8 o'clock. So that means this has been really fun and really interesting, but we got to call it. So I want to thank Joe and Pravanshi very much for the Q&A. That being said, outstanding. I think we all learned a lot, and we really appreciate your time. This live stream will be available on LinkedIn immediately, so you can just go watch it. If you missed anything, you can pause it, rewind, etc. What we should do now is we should start open mic. We'll take 4 or 5 minutes to do that. Legitimate announcements for open mic are varied. So job openings, both Pravanshi and Joe mentioned job openings. That's one example. Looking for a job is an example. We'll take 5 minutes for this open mic, and then we'll go enjoy some pizza. And any other questions you have for Joe or Pravanshi during networking, they'd probably love to hear your questions, and they'll stick around for a few minutes, I'm sure. A few final announcements from me. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and come find our meetup page. You may have found our Luma page. That works too. Meetup will redirect to Luma. So just register for our next events. You can see what's in the pipeline. We would love to see you again. Just pay attention to the location. It may be at Spaces, or in a few weeks, you'll see us at Mission and 5th, as opposed to Mission and 3rd. And yeah, next event's October 16th. So we'll do this exact same thing in about a month, October 16th. That'll just be at the other location. So if you had a good time, please register, and we'll see you then. In the meantime, AI for Developers on September 24th, and AI for Marketers October 15th. So that's what's happening. Mark your calendars. We'll see you soon. Let's start open mic. Job openings, product announcements. You can just say hello and just come on up. You don't need to ask. Just, if you can, stand approximately on this X tape, because then they'll also see you on LinkedIn. So let's go for it.
All right, everyone. So you all see the video that was beautifully created by Leica. With the raise of hand, how many of you remember what that was? Just raise your hand if you remember what it was about. Okay. So I just want to invite you to check it out, yeyzer.com, my website. It's the landing page. We're going to be releasing it in about a month, and is a social networking application for professionals. I need professional beta users that live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I would love to work with you if that was interesting for you, what you saw, which I loved it. Yeah, feel free to fill in the form. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. That was an example of a perfect announcement. Did you guys see that? Any other announcements? Come on up. Don't be shy. Just walk on up.
My name is Jennifer. I'm a lead senior designer, art director, brand designer, and I've been unemployed. So I'm out here looking for work. If anybody needs help with brand design, trade show booths, presentations, I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I have been in tech pretty much my entire life. So startups all the way to enterprise. All right, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennifer. We have like 2 more minutes, guys. The stage is right here. It could be like any announcement. Just like you have the mic and there's like 100 people here. So anyone else? It could just be a 5-second announcement. Please don't hesitate.
Hi everyone, my name is Mia. I lead a UX design studio called Sweeter Design. I've been traveling, but I also fell in love with San Francisco. So I'm also looking for opportunities here in SF. So if you need any help with website design, mobile app, web design, I'd love to talk to you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Very nervous. I don't know. Yeah, I'm good. My name is Saad. I am a CEO and founder of CyberQuick.ai. check us out. If you're into cybersecurity, if you want to learn, you could be a corporation, could be a student, could be anyone just learning about cybersecurity, how to stay secure, and also working on a dashboard. And great to be here. Great to, even though I'm not a designer or a developer, this idea just popped up because there's a shortage of cybersecurity talent in America, in the Bay Area. And if you're looking into getting into cybersecurity, this is a great start. Cyberquick.ai. We're also available on Instagram and Twitter. Cyberquick AI. Check us out. Thank you.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Eric. I'm a current student at UC Berkeley. I just stepped foot in the field of design, and I'm currently looking for an internship. I have some past experience designing AI products at early stage startup, as well as I interned at a design consultancy. So if there's any openings for an internship or just like a part-time contract position, I would love to work with you guys.
Thanks so much, Eric.
Hi guys, my name is Airi. I'm from Japan, and I have my lovely CEO back there. We do organize social media seminar, marketing seminars in Japan, and our students are marketers or content creators in Japan, Tokyo. So if anybody's are interested in, work for Japan or in the future, if you have any great information that I can take advantage of learning here, please talk to me later at the network. So nice meeting you guys.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Junho. I'm the CTO of Winter Comics. We provide AI-powered character art for comics, webtoons, and advertisements. If you want to create art with characters, please join our waitlist. Our URL is wintercomics.com. We also have a LinkedIn and Instagram that you can follow.
Thanks so much. And I think we have time for one more.
I'm the last one? Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Brandon. So I just came back from Japan 3 months ago, and I'm almost about to finish taking bootcamp for UX. And I am currently looking for a position for product designer or any UI UX position. Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi everyone, it's Margherita. I'm from Italy, and I study at Politecnico di Milano, and I'm here in order to get new connections inside the healthcare design world. I'm actually a founder of a healthcare startup, yeah, I'm here for 2 months. I will be here for 2 months, trying to see if there are any useful connections. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Margarita.
My name is Damien McLeod. I am an old designer, like I've been around for a long time. But during COVID, switched over to doing wellness. And so if you're looking to get away from your computer, get outside and into nature, please join us at Spin Out Fitness. We have water bikes. We actually go out on the water and we experience nature like it should be. So get away from your computer and get some inspiration.
Thank you so much, guys. So guess what? The pizza's here. So that's my final announcement. Thank you so much for attending LinkedIn Live. Thanks for sticking with us. And let's build some community, enjoy some pizza, meet each other. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.